Hello students, today we are going to do a small house in Archicad from start to finish. So we would be required to import some Autocad files into Archicad first and then draw over it. So let's learn how to import an Autocad file. So what we have open here is a 3D interface. It looks like a 2D interface, but it's actually a 3D interface. So we can't import an Autocad file into this, and this is also a 3D interface. So both of these, including all of the stories that you have here, these are all 3D interfaces. So in order to import a file which is a 2D file into a 2D interface, we have an option here called as worksheet. So under worksheet we will have to import the drawings. So what we would have to do here is right click and say new independent worksheet, and we can just name this as Autocad create. So now once this is selected here, this is a 2D worksheet and we need to import the Autocad file into this. So what we do is we say file, external content, place external drawing, then we go to the location where we have the Autocad file. We select the Autocad file and say open. And you should know the units that you have your Autocad file in. So mine is millimeters, so I'll go ahead with this and say place, and you can place it on this cursor or anywhere else. I would prefer putting it on here. So this is a file that I have on my 2D interface, which is placed under worksheet. Now I shall go to ground story by double clicking on it, and I can't see that particular drawing. I would love to have it seen here so that I can draw it. Now for that option to work, where that drawing is seen as a reference, we need to put on this button called as trace. And after having put on this trace button, we need to refer to that drawing where it's located, so which is here, and just right click on it and say show as trace reference. Right, so, and I need to move this in the center. So then what we can do is come to this trace reference button and say drag reference. So we can just drag it inside of this. Sometimes colors may not be very favorable for you, so you can actually change the color of the reference. So you can say trace and reference, and you can come up here and change its color to red or any other color. You can change, reduce its opacity. So I'll keep it to red and close this, and I will start drawing the walls. So let's say go to walls. We can use a trace reference as well, but it may not be accurate because these are not complete elements. So we'll draw it as individual elements. So start drawing from here. Change this to single core. The width matches, which is great. And actually I'll just trace around this and draw this. And I need to draw a circular wall here. So then I have an option to draw a circular wall by using this, or this is going to be an exactly circular wall, so we don't want to do this. We can use the same method. You can start drawing it, and then instead of drawing a straight segment, we draw an arc with 3 points. So first point is defined, second point, the third point is going to be on this line. Then we are going to move the cursor in such a way that it starts drawing on top of this wall. That wall is slightly thicker, so we might want to change this to maybe slightly thicker, maybe it's 350. Yes, and then draw it here. And the wall tool by clicking on the last point again. And there are going to be walls here as well, so we'll draw some walls here as well. Make it 300 again. Start drawing from here, change the direction to inside, and I don't want to draw it up to here because I'll get a gap, so I'll draw past this wall actually, and then trim away that portion. Then we will have to change the direction. If you do a mistake, just click on backspace once and it will take you one step behind. And I can simply use a control tool to just trim this away. So there we have the walls drawn, and we need to draw some staircase and a slab, a mezzanine, and some roofs and some columns that you can see here. So let's see how this thing looks in 3D. Don't want to step. So in 3D it's like this, and we might have to change the height of the walls because it's a G+1 story. So whereas this portion is going to be only ground floor because there's going to be a terrace here. So we need to only increase the height of this. So I'll select on these walls and change its height to 6000. Right. Then we might have to draw some doors, so which I can't quite see the doors here. So what I may have to do is I might have to say activate reference, second, trace and reference, and reference on top. Yes, so we need to use reference on top. And then we can see some windows, and these are circular windows, and there's some windows here as well. There's a door here. So what we can do is we can draw a couple of doors here. And this is a window at a higher level, so I guess this plan is at a higher level. At a lower level there are a series of windows here, doors, sorry. So we can actually draw some doors. So we come to the door tool, and let's see, double click on the door tool, what kind of doors we want to draw. We want to draw just double doors here. If you want to draw sliding doors, that option is also available. You can draw a sliding door. I think I'll go with this one, and we can leave the width the same and say OK. We need to change its look drawing method, so we can actually make this a little wider. Make it 2000 and place it around here. So I don't know what has it drawn. Let's see it in 3D. It has drawn it accurately. Only thing, there's no space for sliding here, but we'll go with that. Maybe we need to change this to something else. Let's say I'll go with that for now. And we need to make copies of this, so I'll click on this point and say multiply and say I need 4 copies. Say distribute 4 copies. see with -1 and click on this point, and let's see, click on this point and will not allow us to draw 4 copies, so we'll make it 3 copies and see. Let's choose it from this point. Sorry. Yeah, there we have it. Okay, so we have some doors, series of doors, and we can create some windows on this side, but I'll skip that or I'll instead draw 2 windows on top. So let's see how this looks. Pretty good. And we can draw a roof on top of this first, so that we can trim away the walls. So how do we draw the roof? Here is basically, it's a lean-to roof. So it's a very simple lean-to roof, and it's going to start with the pivot point at around this point, because these are the columns. So we can actually go ahead and put the columns first. It's a little rectangular, but I'll consider them to be square. So go for column tools, go for a square tool, size of 300 by 300 should do, and you can click on this one. I think I chose the center point, so I can move this here, not a problem, and make 4 copies of it. I had to choose this point. So hold shift and move your cursor here. Doesn't match, it's fine. I've made actually 5 copies. It should have been 1, 2, 3, 4 copies. Okay, do it again. So okay, this was distribute, so this has to be distribute -1. So let's see if it works. No, let's say instead we use distribute 3 copies. Yeah, there we have it. Okay, so we have the columns, and we will use column as a base, as a pivot line to draw this roof. So we go for roof command, which is here, lean to roof, and change this to a single core, change its thickness to 120, change its angle to 25 degrees, height to, at this height we will require about 2500, and we would actually draw this pivot line here, and this is the angle, and we need to define the shape of this roof as this. So we'll go to 3D and have a look at it. It has drawn accurately, and here there is a problem because the wall is not crossing the roof, so we might have to increase the height of the walls here. So select the walls and increase its height to something more than the roof, and then we will have to cut it away. So how do we cut away? This is very simple. Select on the roof, or right click and say crop to single plane roof. Just say crop, gets cropped. So everything else also got cropped, including the columns. Wonderful.